Okay, the number one reason why you can't turn your followers into sales on Instagram, you can have 50,000 followers, 100,000 followers, 500,000, a million, but that doesn't necessarily equate to having loads of sales. I've worked with I've seen people that have pages on Instagram that have 500,000 followers, 2 million followers, but that doesn't necessarily reflect on the cash that they're making. And I think a lot of people get so hung up on seeing figures on a screen. I know, because I was also in the same position. I always looked at the views, followers, and these are the sort of metrics I went up. And to some degree, I think it's important to look at their metrics, but the biggest metric will always be sales, the conversion aspect. And just because you have 1 million followers, 2 million followers, doesn't necessarily mean you're making shitloads of money. To be completely transparent, there's people that have 15,000 followers, 5,000 followers, and they're doing extremely well because they get one simple thing correct, which I'm going to talk about now. So the problem where most people go wrong is they have a following. Apologies for the dodgy illustrations, but it might help. So people have a following and they have a product. And this is pretty much where it stays. You could have 1 million followers, so you have your following, and then you've got whatever product it may be, low ticket, high ticket, mid ticket, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. So then they go like this, straight to this. So they got a following, and then they then try and promote their offer. Yes, you might see conversion, but not necessarily the conversion that you should see, especially if you've got like quite a large following, you've got a few 100,000 followers, etc. So what almost you need to do is be able to bridge this gap from someone that's just a follower. So in most cases, they're normally quite cold. They don't necessarily have much of a connection to you or to your brand or to your page, however you present yourself online. So conversions are low. So how do you bridge that gap from someone that's just a follower to someone that becomes a client, someone that purchases your product? So the missing link, and this is what I've seen, especially working with hundreds of different students, selling different products, people that have 500,000 followers, people that have less followers, more followers, etc. So I've seen a real scope of the market, and it always comes down to the same thing, and it's the lack of nurturing. So the nurturing is what bridges the gap. So this is what allows you to turn someone that's just a follower into someone that comes a bit more involved, someone that is essentially becomes like a fan of your brand or of you, someone that's invested into consuming your content and into your own story as well. And there's a couple of ways that you can sort of go about that. So everyone talks about short form content, and short form content, the way I look at it is short form content is brilliant and you should still continue to use it and to utilize it. But in my opinion, short form content is more to get people to your page. It gives people that quick snapshot of what you're about, what your brand shares, what you have on your page essentially. So it's still very, very useful to get traffic and attention to your page. So that's what short form is, to get new people to your page, and then longer form is for the people that follow you, the people that are consuming your content are already a follower of your page, and that's what helps convert them from just being a follower to a true fan. So I think it's good to have a good balance of content to get new people, and then content for your existing people. Feed them as much value and content as you possibly can. And I think, especially from listening to my own mentors and people around me, it's very, very important for people to spend as much time with you as they possibly can, especially if you're selling a high ticket product. I mean, to sell something that's 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 upwards, which a lot of people seem to do these days, if you have a high ticket product, is people need to spend time with you. It's not a quick decision to be able to just invest in something that expensive, especially to just normal everyday people or even businesses. It's a big commitment. So the more time that people can spend with you, the more time that you can nurture them, the better. And there's so many different ways you can do this. And I think it seems to be such a stumbling block, but it doesn't need to be. You don't need to overthink it. Instagram stories are another brilliant way to build that deeper connection with your followers. You can document your story. You can give a bit more of like an authentic feel to your page and to your brand, because it allows people to connect to you. I think with the feed, it's a bit more a bit more professional, a bit more organized. Whereas when it comes to your Instagram stories, it's a bit more raw, a bit more organic, and it's a bit more, it gives people an opportunity to sort of see behind the curtain. It gives that, I don't know, a bit more exclusivity. Because I think, well, and another thing, what I always try and do is always think back to my own experiences, and if based on the purchases that I've made online. And one of the biggest things, that I'm not someone that normally would consume content from a feed. What interests me is Instagram stories, because I can connect to it a bit better. So you want to make sure you're catering for everyone. But when I think back to my own experience, and when I was sort of investing in one of my first mentors, it was a big purchase. So one of the first things is, yes, I consumed his content. I went to his YouTube channel, I went to his Instagram, I looked at his long form, but it almost created that excitement because I wanted to see his Instagram stories as well. I wanted to see what he's getting up to. I wanted to see what he's talking about. I wanted to see his journey. So the way I look at it is, I became like a true fan of my mentor, people that I've invested into, because I wanted to see what they're getting up to. You do become invested into it. So when you get someone that's invested into your brand and what you're getting up to and what you're sharing and what you're talking about, conversion is just natural. It's going to happen. It's going to come. And then them sort of people are the ones that are going to spend the most time with you. They're the ones that are going to be watching your long form Instagram content. They're going to find value. They're just going to be able to consume everything. So that is the aim, is to turn people that are just a cold follower, that don't necessarily know a lot about you, to people that become invested in you, your page, and essentially what you have to offer. And I think that's very, very important. So with Instagram stories, you've got storytelling. You can document your journey, your whys. Why are you doing this? Why should people listen to you? So pain points as well. Pain points are very, very important for nurturing, because people can connect to it. People don't. Another way I look at it as well, because especially with Instagram and social media, you always see the after. You don't necessarily see the before. So if you can use your if you think of like someone like a personal trainer, if they were just to show the after of the results, so someone that's already got the six pack, they've already got the incredible physique, they've dropped loads of fat, they're in very, very good shape. You just see that, yeah, it's good, but obviously what I mean by nurturing is being able to build the timeline of events. People want to see everything. And that's what I say about before and after, so they can see where the journey that the person's come on. So people can start to invest in things like this. So there's so many different ways that you can turn your followers into sales, but it all comes down to being able to nurture them and turn them from just being a follower to someone that really is invested in your journey, and they essentially become a fan. I'm talking about this because it's something that I see all the time. I try and create content or videos around issues that I see, but not just from one person, but from a lot of people. So this is something that I've seen that causes a lot of issues from people being able to convert their following, is the nurturing aspect. They just don't do it in most cases. They just think they're going to have a following, share content, and then they're going to start purchasing. And there's so many more mini steps before that. And it comes down to being able to nurture your audience and essentially just make sure you spend as much time with you as possible. They're the ones that are going to convert. So look, I hope you found this video of value. I'm going to be posting a lot more content like this. It's going to be a lot sort of very, very unfiltered. As you can see, I don't have the best equipment. I've just have Canva open on my, just have like a basic whiteboard. And I try and share content based on what I've seen working with hundreds of students, but then also my own personal journey as well. So anything I share is never, ever advice. I don't like to give people advice. It makes me cringe. So for me, it's just about giving insight into what I've seen working on and utilizing Instagram to generate six figures and work with hundreds of students online. It's just to share my experiences really, and the pain points I see from other creators that try to use Instagram to increase their sales. So I hope you found it of value. I'll leave the link so you can follow me on Facebook as well, so on Instagram. So yeah, if you found it of value, just let me know in the comments. And if you need any help with anything, just reach out. I'll be happy to help.